Hi everybody, hi. My name is Christiana. I'm not sure I've done a proper introduction on this channel. My name is Christiana. I am currently studying the MSc Law and Finance at the University of Oxford. I'm from Nigeria, and yeah, that's it about me. I don't think I want to delve into so much details, but reason why am I here? I'm basically here to talk about something that I think is very important, and it's something that I think I've had at the back of my mind, but I've just really not had the time to do this video. I've had so much to do. This period has been very intense, very hectic, but I'm happy that everything is getting like sorted out or figured out. So yeah, I want to talk about the Hauser Global Scholarship at NYU Law. So besides getting admitted into Oxford, I was privileged to be admitted into the Master of Laws program at New York University School of Law, that's NYU Law, and there are a number of scholarships there at NYU that are available to persons that want to read the Master of Laws. And I was privileged to be awarded the Hauser Global Law School Hauser Global Scholarship is yeah, I was privileged to be awarded that, and yeah, it's a fully funded scholarship, covers the tuition and living cost once you get to NYU to do the Masters of Law. And I think that it's highly competitive. They take just 10 persons every year, so it means that you need to put in the work. You need to you need to make sure that you're doing so much. So I just wanted to give you context, because I've gotten people like asking me questions around how was it like, what do they need, what are the topics they want you to write on, is there a way your essay should be structured, do you think I can replicate the essay for one school for the Hauser Global? And so I want to start by saying that I'll just talk about two things: the essay for the Hauser Global Scholarship and the personal statements, because I think those are like very crucial. I'm not saying those other documents, the other documents you will be attaching to your application is not essential, but I think these are two very important, crucial things I want to delve into, because I think that that's one area that some people struggle with. So the first I'll start with is the Hauser Global essay. So the first thing is, in terms of topic, when you start saying, I mean, when you start thinking about, oh, is there a particular topic that they want me to write on? So be fair, no one wants you to write on any particular topic. The prompt is for you to identify an issue in the problem or a region, and then you suggest solutions to deal with that issue. So my advice would be, think about it. And I just think that at this time you already have your topic, you've already written your draft or something, would have made progress. Because I think for me, the first point was that I had to start thinking about my topic for like months before the timeline for the applications started running. I started thinking about it. I was just like, that was always my bone, like my issue, because I kept telling my friends that I don't have a topic. If I don't have a topic, I'm not applying. And so that's like a principle for me. I don't think that there's any point like doing something when I know I will not finish it. So I just, if I don't have an idea, I don't like to set myself up for failure. So if I do not have a topic, then there's really nothing I'm doing there, or there's no application I'm putting in. So by the time I got my topic, like ran it by a number of people, I'm like, okay, oh, makes sense. Some people didn't even understand that issue. Like, oh, okay. But I knew what I wanted to write on. So I'll tell you that, have your topic. I'm sure you already have it. And think about it. Do not have a topic that if one person says, oh, this is rubbish, or maybe one person just says, I beg. I don't think it's making sense. Make sure that that topic is very good to get feedback, but make sure that you have like the issue there, and you can really like talk about that issue comfortably. You know the issue, and you are making good suggestions to address that issue. So much so that I don't think everybody will have to agree with your perspective, but if you're able to like analyze that perspective properly, I think that would make sense. So run your topic by a number of people, but just know that not everybody will agree with your topic. Not everyone will agree with your perspective, but it does not mean that when someone is giving you like feedback regarding something that is not like right or does not make sense, you should be very like rigid. It would be a different case if the person just has like a different perspective or something, but maybe it comes to similar conclusion, but or maybe something different, but I'm not. But if you're writing something that did not make sense, or you wrote something that does not make sense, generally, if there's a feedback on that, I think you should take that and make amends. I think the interesting thing was that there was something I wrote. I wrote when I wrote when I had my draft ready. I thought it was perfect at the time, and then I like spoke to a friend of mine, and they were like, "Oh, I don't agree with this. I think this is it. This is the downsides of this thing you just said." No, it can be argued that this is it. Do you understand? So he has his argument. I have my argument, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's your argument. And I carried my own and like went with it. Do you understand? So it's just like you analyzing a case, like saying, oh, what did the court say here? I think the court did this one. I think the court did that. I think the court should have said this or something else, right? That is it. So, and do not say that maybe you want to think of one difficult thing, or don't say that I want to change the world. I mean, it's not bad to want to change the world, but don't see the Hauser Global Scholarship, the Hauser Global essay as an opportunity to write on one magical thing. It is very good to write on something like very, very grand, nice, but don't place so much weight on looking for something that is so hard or something that is so strange that you not even be conveying like any message, or at the end of the day you write on something that you yourself you're struggling to even appreciate, and how much more someone else. Some people write on like very, very simple topics like, oh, maybe employment issue, employment consent, right to strike or right to labor or something. People write on different things. Some people just write on some people write on a number of like just things that are basic, right to life under Nigerian law, analysis, and I talk about maybe this how life was taken away from someone, and the family did this and nothing had been done, this is an issue or something. So it mustn't be something that it mustn't be something basically that is so grand. So if you have a small idea, even if it's right to life, that you have a new perspective to bring or something, or you think there is a problem that has still not been addressed, then it's fine to write on that. Nobody's looking for one special, no, nobody's looking for it to write on finance. It's waiting for it to write on maybe arbitration or something. There's no specific area. Then the second thing is that try to stick to the word count. I know that's very clear, it's very obvious, but I know some people still struggle with it. Try to stick to the word count. I think the first approach to sticking to word count is by I would say first starting with doing your drafts. Yes, as I would expect. Make sure that when you do your draft, it's not like double the word count, because you can write your draft and it's like 1,500. I think the word counts around like 750 if you split it with its personal statements. So make sure that it's not like double the word count, so that if you want to start the outside, it won't be a difficult task for you. And yeah, so do that, and then make sure that you just have like an outline. Have your introduction, have your main body, and have your conclusion. For your introduction, there's no need to start rambling. Some schools have like essays that enable you to like ramble for a bit because the word count is large. And for the Hauser Global, you just have to like introduce your topic, then move on to your whatever the issue is, like the issue that you note in that area, like you identify to talk about that issue specifically, then move on to conclude. I'm not saying that conclusion has to be separate, but conclusion can even merge with solutions, because what you're like saying, oh, you think this and that, and maybe lastly the government should do this about it. So I think that should be really like that should really be fine. So conclusion and the solution can like go hand in hand, but just make sure that even if like you have like these items in paragraphs, so someone is able to point to it. And another point I want to emphasize in making your points clear is that you don't need to use like big grammar. Like you can use like you can make your writing very elegant, or whatever it is, your language very fine, elegant, and all of that, but don't have to use like ambiguous words or words that make it hard for them to understand what you're saying. So you want to make it easy for them to review your work. So I tell you to start with a captivating introduction. In my essay, um like I did start with maybe one. I did start with any legal like point. I started with a story. I started with a story that happened somewhere, and I now it was that story that I used to draw, like to draw the attention of the reader to the problem. So an interesting thing was that when I first showed this, when I showed this to someone, and the person was like, I mean, take out. I don't think that story is essential. Take out that story. Take out that story. It does not directly link. But I thought that that story was very captivating. It was captivating enough to make you to reflect on how deeply I thought about that problem and how it could really affect people. So the story was not directly tied to the issue, but it was something that issue could have, like that issue would have made that story worse than it was. So and it's a very like very very crucial issue, or very recurring issue in Nigeria. So and I just found a way to like use that story to hook the reader. So I'm not saying that your own has to start with a story. Your own can start with your legal like jargon. So maybe this essay wants to probably say, oh, maybe there's this one in climate change, and this essay sets to analyze what the Nigerian government is doing, or what legislation is saying, or the lacuna in the legislation, and all of that. So mine started with the story. So as opposed to maybe some people saying don't start with the story. So the key point I want you to get from this is that every essay has its own style. You might start with the story like me, fine. You might not start the story like me, fine, right? And another thing again is that I want to highlight or make clear at this point is that when you try to divide, like, I mean, I think Hauser has like the word count on the essay and then the personal statement, right? Yeah. So make sure that do not be so like fixated on ensuring that maybe your essay is on your field. It might be something about maybe if another field, but like people would always say it makes sense that your application documents have like one language, like maybe sustainability, or has maybe capital, financial instruments, or arbitration, maybe everything about the arbitration. But I mean, it's not bad for you to write on something that you think is an issue but it's not in your field. Because one thing that some people struggle with is I mean, I can't think of any issue. Like, you can't think of any issue in your field. I mean, what is this? So I think, just so for me, a way to cure that is when you're writing your personal statement, you can then say maybe you also would want to explore modules. You are happy to explore modules because I mean, if you're talking about a problem and these are how the issues can be addressed, I think it's fine for you to also take modules that would help you, like maybe do further research on that issue or something, or from an international perspective. I mean, I just think that but whether you put that there or not, I don't think it should do much. Right, but the point is, do not think that it has to be in your area or your field of specialization. I don't know if my voice is too low. God, I beg. Because I just hope my voice is not too low. So I think that's it about the essay. I already said avoid generic solution and have a topic that really reflects an issue, and you have like good solution, not just generic one. I think the government should enact law. Enacting law is good, but say something else, please. Like, just try and say something else. Think of something. You can say even like the EU, like what they've done in Germany. I think XYZ should be done. It shows that you're doing research. It does not mean that you're gonna imagine. You don't have to imagine one grand thing like, oh, they should come and turn here to la la land. No, you can even draw reference like this country, they should address. The government can do this, or that's it. So I think that's it for it. For the Hauser Global Law School essay, but Hauser Global Scholarship. Yeah. So if you have any question, I mean, you can ask me on that. You can just put it in the comments, yeah, or you find me on LinkedIn and send your message there. If you have my number, you can chat me up. Yeah, so that's it for the Hauser Global essay. I think the second one is a personal statement. On personal statements, I would say that this how like I think you should like these are what I think these are the things I think your personal statement should contain. First thing you should bear in mind that it must not have it must not have like a maybe the outline of your friends one or someone that has gotten it before. Some people, like I said, for my Hauser essay, Hauser Global essay, I started with a story and tied it to a legal issue, right? But some people said, oh, they start analyzing maybe one legal lacuna or something else that is so serious already. So for the personal statements, I think it should reflect one, your academic strengths. It should reflect leadership. It should reflect notable things you've done in school or from work that makes you stand out, and so avoid generic things. So I'll start by saying for your personal statement, you can I think I'm such a storyteller, maybe because I can have so many things that have happened in this my life. For context, I was born in Kano State, and I lived there. I've lived in Abia State, I've lived in Lagos, and now I'm currently in Oxford. So I've been here and there, and so many things have been happening in between. So I think my personal statement started with also an issue, quite even a bit related to that of my Hauser Global essay, but this was like a different one. So it was a childhood experience, yeah, that it was a childhood safe. I had sense at the time. So yeah, I started with a story, and then I now explained my academic achievements. Talk about, so what I will tell you is that for these personal statements, please shine. Please shine. Don't say I want to be humble. Shine, because I feel like your personal statements is like the spinal, like what? And your CV is like the spinal cord of your Hauser Global essay, right? Yeah. So by the time you are saying it, don't be doing it. You know that there are so many people now, that are applying. So what is going to make them pick you out of these plenty people? So you have to take this personal. It's your personal statement. You have to take it personal. So I think it's that you should talk about stress your academic achievements. You had first class here, you were top of your class, you were this one. If you have broken record, please say that your broken record in history, is 100 years history, say it there. Some people like to some people will say, oh, put summa cum laude in the brackets. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced though, so that they get the idea. You say it, and if you're number one in your class, say you were number one in your class, because anyone you like to ask for class rank, I don't know why. So say you were number one in your class, you were this, you were how many were in your class, say that. And please, beyond your academics, if you look at the requirements for the Hauser Global Scholarship, it says that they encourage applications from leaders. So please try as much as possible to talk about leadership. I'm not saying you should go and take position now in one place now. No, I'm not saying that. If you don't have leadership, you leave it like that and pray to God. But if you have leadership, and I know you've heard this over time, leadership does not mean that you are the head of one class or one thing or one. No, it could mean that in one community you like, maybe there was a committee that was set up, you helped mobilize this, you were helping to do this, you were doing that, or in a group you did this, in a group you did that. That is you leading. That is you doing something that made other people follow you or made you guide other people. And leadership, no matter how minute, is very crucial. Like however you think of it. So you might say, oh, I beg, was I not just one small position in my faculty? Speak to that, say that there. So stress your leadership. You led this, you led that. I talked about leadership within my faculty because I was the first female elected course rep in my faculty. So I talked about my election. I talked about the fact that I talked about leadership outside even like being a course rep. I had other positions I occupied while in school, even after coming out of the University of Nigerian Law School. leadership start positions that I'm currently occupying. Speak to that. I'm not saying you should go and write your CV back, because of course what counts will not allow you to do that, but those crucial ones that show that strengthen your application. Maybe even leadership positions that buttresses the area of interest you say you want to explore at NYU. For example, you want to do energy law. You should talk about maybe you've done something in your society. You were head of energy society, or you were secretary in energy society. You are something in the NBA energy society. Like anything that shows that you have that, like you're leading in that field that you're interested in. It's very good to add that. So anything you've done in work, at work, school is very important. So that will strengthen your academic achievement. Then when they ask you why NYU, I know they also have that on their website. Don't say don't say, oh, why NYU? I say NYU is the heart of New York. This one you meet commercials. No, generic. Look for something specific. And I tell people, sit down and do research on these points. Don't go and be saying sit down and take time. Research is very important in applications, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this video now is because I know that there isn't so much information, or there wasn't so much information at the time I was applying, and I think that was quite frustrating in terms of, okay, maybe like people that like gotten this, or people that had gone through this process. Some people did not leave information there, and I mean, it's not everyone that wants to speak about this. People have other things that they probably want to do in their time. Yeah, so there wasn't so much information out there, and I just oh, you know what, I had to start asking questions, reaching out to people, watch videos, countless videos on YouTube, so many things, what is a specific thing about NYU, what is one thing that made you enjoy your time there. So you get specific information. Sometimes you see to even you have to dig deeper into the website and look for one society that, oh wow, it's interesting. So look for things that are crucial. You can watch videos about maybe students sharing about their experience, and there's something from that experience that really interests you. Wow, oh, she's an energy club. I would like to join this energy club. For example, now in Oxford, I know that when I was applying, I had said I wanted to join the Sustainable Finance Society, and today I'm currently one of the executives at the Sustainable Finance Student Society. So I mean, it's not just that you're saying this because you just want to lie, no, it's because it shows your interest, and if things work out, you really will follow through with it. So for me now, this is my reality. So look for those specific things. They have this thing and you think it will help you. Speak about faculty, the lecturers, oh, this is what this particular lecturer that is teaching a course you want to take at NYU. This lecturer. You go and engage in their work. Look at what the lecturer said. Look at this argument. You want to understand his perspective and why he argued that this should be this. Because in your own jurisdiction, the law is saying this. So I want to get feedback on this. Then see what you have done and what you plan to do after NYU. What you have done. I mean, you said your academic achievement and all of that. In terms of what you have done, your work. Maybe one remarkable thing you did, leadership or something like that. What you plan to do in NYU. You want to explore. You want to learn from faculty. You want to join a society. You want to do this. You think that it will challenge your thinking, to make you to understand maybe one gap or one issue that you do not get to understand from this area of law that you are currently doing. It might be that there's some you connect it to, maybe there's a gap. There might not even be a gap. You might just want to broaden your understanding of something, or you want to get another perspective apart from the Nigerian perspective. Those are valid reasons. And what you plan to do after is not for you to say, I want to do that. No, I want what you want to do in NYU. Yes, fine. And after NYU, I plan to do this. If you were saying maybe you want to, maybe your story is about energy, you probably want to be the head of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, or the NUPRC in Nigeria. You want to be the head. You want to be Attorney General in your country, maybe Russia. You want to be the head of Attorney General. You want to do something maybe that's connected to what you've gained from NYU. You want so I think that's a very good way to to end it, like to say, speak to what you plan to do. So basically, you should speak to, first thing, what is the reason why you're doing what you do. It speaks to your academic achievements. It should reflect your leadership. It should reflect notable things you've done at school or at work, and things that makes you stand out. And please avoid generic things. Say something epic, like I said. And lastly, say what you have done, which are like things you already highlighted. Say what you plan to do at NYU, not just generic things, like I said. And what you plan to do after, like what do you plan to do after NYU. I think that's a good way to end it. Some people might not end it like, oh, this is what he wants to do, but I'm just saying that to be a very balanced essay. A balanced essay will be one that has all of these things, because if you look at the criteria or the requirements, that's it. But usually what I'm saying is just that I want to like give you an idea of, okay, this is how we should probably, this is a very good structure, because I know that they'll just say list it out there, but that's it. So, and you must not start with a story. You mustn't be poor. If you're not poor, it's fine. You can say, oh, when you traveled for a vacation in Spain, or you traveled for a vacation in Ijebu Ode, you noticed this and that and that. That was where after you returned from your trip to New York or something, you noticed this and that, and this it made you to be interested in law. After this, you decided to pursue your undergrad in Nigeria. You did this and that because you further wanted to explore Nigerian legal system. That's it. Because the Hauser, one thing I want to say, the Hauser Global Law School, the Hauser Global Scholarship emphasizes leadership. So if you have led and all of those things, those qualities are very important. You deserve the Hauser Global Scholarship. So you mustn't be poor. Like, you mustn't start saying that, oh, you were fetching firewood, you were fetching water or carrying firewood or something, or you were miserable. So you can start on a good note. You mustn't have a story. Some people, maybe it's like they can talk about maybe why they were reading one essay somewhere in one article, or one article somewhere. They noticed that something happened in the region and nothing was done until date. Nothing has been done about that thing, and that's why they had an interest in it. So some people might just say, oh, up to date, there's still a gap in this. This is why why you're interested in law. You might not even say that, but I think it's very essential to say why you're interested, why you're doing what you do, why you want to do what you're doing, and what you plan to do with it. Those are things that are very essential. And yeah, I think that's it for it. But please make sure that two things shines: your academic and leadership. If you are really fighting for the Hauser Global Scholarship, academic and leadership is good. So I think the only other thing that you probably need to work on is maybe formatting of your document. Make sure that it's very good, and make sure that there's no typos. Anything that will take out of the process, please don't allow it to happen. If it's within your control, try as much as possible to do that. Yeah. So I think that's really for those of you that are applying. But if you have any questions, just leave it here. I would respond to your questions. Yeah. If you have any questions, just put it there. I think besides the Hauser Global, there are a number of other scholarships at NYU. The Arthur Vanderbilt, that is awarded to, I think, awarded as well. I think it's a full tuition scholarship. They also look at your documents to give you the scholarship. So I think generally for NYU, you really should put in a very good application so that you can be considered. It's so exciting to just do these applications and get considered for a scholarship, as opposed to going through maybe so much rigor. I think the rigor is now go through that rigor now and put in a good application. Yeah, if there's anything you want, if there's anything that you think is a concern, maybe you're writing on an issue and you don't think it's flowing, it's better for you to leave that issue and think of something else than struggle and manage to finish. Key takeaways from this video is: make sure that your Hauser Global Law School, Hauser Global essay is reflective of a critical issue, one that you can argue very well, you can speak on very well. It's not academic, like it's not highly academic. Do you understand? It's not like the writing sample you have in other schools. So, and you really have like a limited word count to even start saying so much. Maybe one or two case laws, one case law will be fine to buttress your point. There's really no time to argue, there's really no space to argue so much. So just make your point, like make it straight to the point and hit the nail on the head. Avoid like generic solutions that if you just put up on Google, it's out there. I'm not saying that you cannot draw reference to give like a solution that is applicable in that situation. It's fine, but maybe if the issue may be climate change, like there should be investment. Everybody knows that they need investment to deal with this issue. They think of something else, right? Or draw reference from jurisdiction and say this particular issue there, this is a particular thing that I think Nigerians should do it. Yeah. Do not be so fixated on anything that is gigantic. Do you get? So I think that's another key takeaway I want you to get. And everyone has different writing style. You can start with a story, you can start with your poser, you can start with anything, but it does not really have to be like one way. Maybe one person wrote his own and got it like this, you want to now die on that hill. No, make sure that it is just reflective of the fact that you know what you're saying, you understand the issue, and you're arguing it very well. There's really no long time to argue, long space to argue, so one or two arguments is fine, and then your solutions would just do it. So I wish you the very best for those of you applying, and I think I just really have to do this. I think deadline is already around the corner, so I just have to do this because I don't know that I have so much time to create time, but like I said, wish you the very best. And if you have any questions, comments. should I ask like other users and say subscribe, like, share? Yeah. So this, if you think it helped you, yeah, and you think that like maybe a point you want me to clarify, LinkedIn, anyway, fine. And do enjoy your day. Bye. Your day, your night.